Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Dr. Srinivas Medical Concepts and my FB page Dr. Srinivas Concepts. This is Dr. Srinivas, neurologist from Andhra Pradesh, India. I am also the medical author of the book Focused Neurology. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, the cerebral malaria and the core concepts. Cerebral malaria and core concepts. Malaria. Malaria is a parasitic disease which is caused by the protozoa of Plasmodium species and transmitted by the female Anopheles mosquito. There are basically 4 species of Plasmodium. Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale and Plasmodium malariae. In India, Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium falciparum are almost equally present. Of the 4 species, Plasmodium falciparum is the most dangerous and it causes the most devastating symptoms, the severe falciparum malaria, including cerebral malaria. So, Plasmodium falciparum causes the most severe form of malaria and cerebral malaria. The complications approximate 2% of falciparum infection. So if there are 100 falciparum infections, 2% of 100 are likely to develop cerebral malaria. Cerebral malaria. But what is cerebral malaria? To put it very simply, when malaria affects the central nervous system and causes the clinical manifestations of the central nervous system disorder, it becomes cerebral malaria, and which is a serious disorder. So cerebral malaria is a rapidly fatal disease characterized by fever. Obviously any infection will have fever. So it is characterized by fever with headache, seizures, the eye changes. It produces characteristic eye changes which I will be discussing in few minutes from now, and then finally coma. So cerebral malaria is characterized by the demonstration of Plasmodium falciparum in the blood, and clinically it is manifest by fever, headache, seizures, the characteristic eye changes of malaria, and finally coma. The focal features are very rare because it's a generalized encephalopathy. It is more like ischemic encephalopathy, because there is a blockage of the capillary blood flow because of the parasitized RBCs. It is a generalized hypoxic encephalopathy. So the focal features are rare. If focal features are present, there could be hemiplegia, aphasia, hemianopia, and cerebellar ataxia. There are 2 common features which are seen in cerebral malaria. We should always look for these 2 features which are very common in cerebral malaria. And the 2 common features which we see in cerebral malaria are bruxism, that is grinding the teeth like this, and then hiccups. So these 2 are somehow present very commonly in cerebral malaria. Now let's see the pathophysiology of cerebral malaria. The cerebral malaria, the symptoms of the cerebral malaria are attributed to mechanical obstruction. There is a decreased blood flow, the mechanical obstruction of vessels, which could be capillaries and venules. The Plasmodium falciparum, unlike other species, invades all ages of RBCs. The reticulocytes, young and old RBCs, and therefore in Plasmodium falciparum there is a big number of parasitized RBCs because it infects RBCs of all ages, unlike few species which affect only the young RBCs. The 3 pathophysiological features very important were 1 cytoadherence, 2 rosettes, and 3 agglutination. Cytoadherence. The parasitized RBCs, the membranes, they form knobs. They form knobs which make them to adhere to the capillary and venous endothelium. So they become sticky to the capillary and venous endothelium, and therefore they eventually block the blood flow in the capillaries and venules. The parasitized RBCs produce knobs which make them sticky, and they go and adhere to the endothelium of the capillaries and venules, and therefore they obstruct the free flow of blood in the capillaries and venules, more like an obstructive and ischemic encephalopathy. They also cause rosettes. What is rosettes? The infected RBCs go and adhere to the uninfected RBCs. This is called rosettes. And we have agglutination also, wherein infected RBCs go and adhere to the parasitized RBCs. So agglutination, rosettes and cytoadherence causes the parasitized RBCs to clump together and get stuck to the endothelium of the capillaries and venules, not allowing the blood to flow freely. So this is the pathophysiologic mechanism. So cytoadherence, rosettes and agglutinations are central to the pathogenesis of falciparum malaria. Because of this, sequestration occurs. The parasitized RBCs are sequestered, and they are seen in the main organs, especially in the brain. They are sequestered. So sequestration of infected RBCs in vital organs, especially the brain, interferes with the microcirculation of the blood flow. As I said earlier, it invades the all edges of the RBCs, and therefore it becomes a densely packed parasitized RBCs. There are typical eye changes in cerebral malaria. Typical eye changes in cerebral malaria. 1. In 50% of persons having cerebral malaria, they have retinal hemorrhages. But what is so special of the retinal hemorrhages in cerebral malaria? We see a pale center in the retinal hemorrhages. So pale centered hemorrhage, pale centered area in the retinal hemorrhage we see. So this is very characteristic of cerebral malaria. The second eye change what we see is perimacular whitening. The perimacular whitening, which we see in almost 30% of the patients, are the retinal opacification. So these two are the characteristic eye changes we see in cerebral malaria: the retinal hemorrhages and perimacular whitening. Treatment: 20 to 30% of the persons who develop cerebral malaria and then coma and seizures, they become fatal. The disease becomes fatal. The drug of choice in cerebral malaria is artesunate. So artesunate is the drug of choice. The falciparum malaria, we can divide it into two forms in terms of treatment. One, the uncomplicated Plasmodium falciparum. Second is the complicated Plasmodium falciparum, that is the cerebral malaria. In the uncomplicated falciparum malaria, we give artesunate 4 milligrams per kg QD for 3 days plus sulfadoxine and pyrimethamine. It's a combination drug which is given as a single tablet. So this is known as ACT, artemisinin combined therapy. So we give artesunate combined therapy. This is for uncomplicated falciparum malaria. If it is complicated falciparum malaria, that is cerebral malaria, we give again artesunate, but 2.4 milligrams per kg IV stat, another dose at 12 hours, another dose at 24 hours, another at 48 hours, and we may keep continuing depending upon the clinical situation. So we give artesunate 2.4 milligrams per kg IV stat, followed by another dose at 12 hours, another dose at 24 hours, another dose at 48 hours, and the further continuance of the IV artesunate depends upon the clinical situation. This is the treatment for cerebral malaria. The other forms of treatment of cerebral malaria are, as I said, they may throw seizures. So we have to give benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines are the drugs of choice for persons having cerebral malaria and seizures. We generally avoid phenobarbital because they can cause respiratory embarrassment. Sometimes there could be a breakdown of the blood-brain barrier and there could be edema. So one school of thought, according to one school of thought, dexamethasone may be useful, but it is not clear whether dexamethasone is useful or not. Likewise, whether mannitol is also useful or not in cerebral malaria. So artesunate we give for treatment of cerebral malaria to control Plasmodium falciparum infection. We give diazepam to control seizures. Mannitol and dexamethasone, their role in cerebral malaria is not certain. Prophylaxis. So people may be going to the malarious area where the Plasmodium falciparum infection is prevalent, and in case they have to go, what is the prophylaxis we give? Atovaquone and Proguanil. One tablet 1 or 2 days before they enter the malarious area where there is Plasmodium falciparum infection, and we continue it till 1 week after leaving the malarious area. So 1 or 2 days before they enter the malarious area and 1 week after they leave the malarious area. This is for the prophylaxis. So cerebral malaria is basically a disease of central nervous system because of Plasmodium falciparum infection, because it affects all ages of RBCs, and because it adheres to the endothelium, capillary endothelium and venules endothelium. Because of that, there is a disruption of the flow of blood, causing features suggestive of hypoxemic encephalopathy. The drug of choice is artesunate. So this is an overview and the core concepts of cerebral malaria. I hope you have enjoyed listening to my lecture. If you have any suggestions or comments, kindly post onto my YouTube channel. But please like and subscribe my YouTube channel, Dr. Srinivas Medical Concepts, and my FB page, Dr. Srinivas Concepts. Thank you. Bye.